And then I started getting the phone calls, and I started learning how to talk with people and how to sell. And then eventually I became extremely successful with that role. And then from that role, um, I wanted to get into what they call national accounts. And national
Right.
accounts is with all of the big consortia, like the
Hmm.
signatures, vacation.coms, travel leaders. And basically, this is where I could kind of get my sales and my marketing in the same job. And so
Right.
I went there. I did that for a few years, and I met a lot of very powerful people in the industry. Because these folks who run those consortia, they kind of run the industry. You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
they control where a lot of the business flows. And then finally, I was able to finally get to marketing. And so my last job at Celebrity, I was in marketing. I was in charge of all of the consumer and trade advertising. So all of the magazine ads that people saw in like Travel Weekly or in Condé Nast,
Ah,
I was the person in charge of making sure all of those ads went out. And one of the things is because I am a minority, so
right.
I'm African American, and one of the things that I really fought for was to make sure that we had representation in the marketing. And so one
Absolutely.
of the most popular ads that we ever had was an ad with a black couple on the front, and they were on the lawn club for Celebrity, and they were like playing bocce ball together. He's hugging her from behind, and it's one of the most popular ads that we've ever had. And
I
they
played
still
bocce
use,
ball here in Panama.
yeah, yep, and they still use my ad. That's the ad I created. They still use it
That's
to this day.
cool.
So I love to take credit for that ad. So
That's
after
good.
that, so that was a long time. I was with Celebrity for over 19 years,
Oh,
and then
wow.
yeah, and then eventually I wanted to try something different. And plus, I had a family, I had kids, and so I needed a little more flexibility. And so a company called Travel Impressions, who does
Hmm.
land vacations,
Yeah.
one of the folks that I worked with at Celebrity was now the CEO at Travel Impressions. And they needed someone to run their South Florida market and be their business development manager for South Florida. So he came to me with an offer that I couldn't refuse
Of
because,
course.
to leave Celebrity after 19 years, the offer had to be amazing, and it was.
Really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was an amazing offer. I could not turn it down. Um, Plus, it gave me the flexibility because my daughter was starting elementary school, and it gave me the flexibility to, set my own schedule, be home, and
Right.
I love being a father, so it was very, very important for me to be available to them at all times. And so this job was just the perfect storm at the perfect time. And so I was with Travel Impressions for 2.5 years, almost 3 years, and then the company got bought, and then
Oh,
I started seeing some changes, and I was like,
right.
oh no, and we lost that kind of like that great feeling we had when I first started there. And plus, the
Yeah.
guy who I was with, who was the CEO, he left. So when he left, I was like, okay, if he left, I know the writing's on the wall. They're getting ready to
Uh-huh.
make a lot of changes. So I went on ahead and I took, they gave me an option like where I could apply for a new position, or I could take a package. And I took a package. I took 2 months off and played golf every day. Hung out with
Ah,
my kids. Oh man, it was great. I had 2 months off to just hang out and do nothing and just, rest and relax. And then I was ready to get back into the industry, and I knew I wanted to go back to cruises. So I applied for a few cruise lines, and Oceania came with the greatest offer. And plus, just me being in marketing when I was with Celebrity, one of the things that I was responsible for was checking out the competition. So
right.
one of our competitors was Oceania, so I knew everything about the brand. You know what I mean? Like I was
Yeah.
all into their marketing. I knew everything that they did. I knew all of their pillars and everything else. So before I even joined the brand, I knew a ton about it. And so I knew it was a quality brand. And so when they offered me the position, I jumped at the chance to work for this brand, and I'm really, really glad that I did because I just celebrated my 1 year anniversary with them, and it's been amazing.
Yay!
Yes, it's been amazing, and so I'm looking to grow with this brand and branch out and do some other things. But right now, it's a great brand, and I enjoy working for them.
So let's segue into that. Let's talk about Ocean
Yeah,
and what's and
yeah.
who they are and what's going on with them.
Yeah, well, Oceania is still a relatively young brand. It just turned 16 years old this year, and it's an amazing story how they started. It started with one ship. The guy Frank Del Rio and Bob Bender. They used to work for a company called Renaissance. And
Mm-hmm.
Renaissance had 8 ships. They had the R class ships, R1 through R8.
Right.
And then Renaissance went out of business. The country of France repossessed ships and everything. It was a big hassle, like totally
Wow.
crazy. Yeah. So Frank and Bob used to work for Renaissance, and so once the company went under, they got together, they pooled their money together, and got a bunch of investors, and they bought one of the ships, and that's the first Oceania ship, which is the Regatta. That's the
Ah,
first
I
ship
remember
that
that.
started. Yeah, that's the first ship that started the brand. And from there, I mean, it's an amazing ride and an amazing journey. So from that one ship, they built the brand, and it's grown so much. Now we have 6 ships with 2 on the way, one coming in 2022 and another coming in 2025. So we're growing there. And the company was recently bought by Norwegian Cruise Line for
Yeah.
$3.3 billion. Yes,
Oh
billion
my
with a
goodness.
B.
With a B.
So think about that. These guys went from one ship that they
Right.
scrounged together some money to get, and now they just sold the brand for $3.3 billion. And Frank Del Rio is now in charge of Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings because he's done such an amazing job building the Oceania brand. The Norwegian folks in the board of directors basically say, "Hey, we want you to turn the whole company
Right.
around." So
Right.
now he's in charge of Regent Seven Seas Cruises, which is our luxury sister brand. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
Oceania is under that umbrella, and then Norwegian Cruise Line. So if you see a lot of the improvements that Norwegian has made over the last couple of years, it's
Yeah.
mostly because of Frank, as far as the food and everything else, because that's what Oceania is. One of our main pillars is the food. So to get back to the Oceania brand, there's 3 things that the brand is built on, and one of those is small and intimate, luxurious ships, because we have 6 ships. Four
Right.
of them hold about 680 guests, and
That's what
then
I'm
our
talking
two,
about.
yes, that small ship,
Mm-hmm.
intimate experience, and then our two, quote unquote, larger ships, they hold about 1,200 guests. So
Right.
even with our bigger ships, it's still a really, really nice
Yeah.
sized vessel that can get in and get out of a lot of different places. The second pillar is our destinations. You talk about bucket lists. You're the bucket list buster. There are some itineraries that we have that are just amazing bucket list type trips. Our itineraries range from 7 nights all the way to 180. Yes,
That's
we
what
have a
I want to
100
do.
and yes, we have a 180-day around the world cruise, and then everything that you can think of in between. We hit all continents except Antarctica. We don't have any icebreakers just yet, but we pretty much go everywhere else. And then the third pillar that the brand is built on is the food. And
Mhm. That's what I hear about.
Karen, Karen,
That's
I'm trying
all.
to tell you, the food is
I want to
so
eat.
good. Oh my God. Like and that's one of the cool things. Like if we get you on for just a luncheon or a ship tour, you're gonna get a taste of it. And once you get that little taste, you're gonna want more. I'm telling you, it's the food is phenomenal. I
Yeah.
recently, like I said, I've been with the company for a year. I went on my first Oceania cruise in December last year, 2018, and I was disappointed because they didn't let me stay on more than 3 days. But it was a it was an amazing 3 days. I'm telling you, I ate in the specialty restaurants every single day, and with Oceania Cruises, you don't pay for specialty dining. So
That's
I hit
nice.
3 different specialty restaurants, and I had 3 amazing meals. I mean, even the room service was on point. I mean, it was so good. That's
What
all I
about
kept
the
talking about
wine
when I got off.
selection?
Say again.
What about the wine selections?
Oh, come on. The
That's what
wine
I'm
selection was amazing. They had great wines, and I'm not really like knowledgeable about wines and whatnot, but they had sommeliers on board who were very very good at pairing your wine with whatever it was
that's
that you were ordering. It was a great experience with the food and the wine. So if you're ever looking, Karen, if you're ever looking to do a food and wine group, we
I am. I'm
hit your
always
boy
looking
up.
to do
Let
a
me know. Hit
wine.
me up.
Yeah, I will do that. In fact, we're gonna put that top on the list because I'm a
Yeah.
big food and wine person. I
And
love
and one of the cool things that I love about the ships, because there's the 2 bigger ships. Those are the Marina and the Riviera, the ones that hold 1,200. They have
it.
some additional things on board for the foodie type of people. You know what I mean? Like they have a
Right.
cooking school, a cooking
See,
school on board the ship. And
yeah,
the cool part about that is, wherever you are in the world, that's where they cater the class to. So if let's say
right,
if you're in, just say you're in Panama, right? You go to
right.
Panama, you get off the ship, and you're gonna go into town. You're gonna get some local ingredients, and you're gonna come back on board, and you're gonna prepare a local dish that's native to Panama. And so you're going to
Ooh,
learn more about the culture. You're going to learn about the food. You're going to learn about the people, and that's really what the brand is a lot about. It's all about the experience and really immersing yourself in the destinations that you go to.
yeah. Well, that sounds really good. And the difference between Oceania and we're going to call them the huge mass markets like Norwegian is everything's included, right? So you don't
Pretty
have
much,
to buy
yeah.
a liquor package, or do you?
Well, that's where we kind of differ off of that, because
Okay.
you have to remember there's the luxury brands, which
The
is like our
Regency.
sister Regent, Seven Seas. So the luxury brands, they you everything's included with the luxury brand. Okay.
Okay.
So now it's included, but then you're gonna pay that higher price for everything that you're paying for. So
Right.
everything's included, but you are paying for it. With
Right.
us, we don't include everything, but we do include a whole lot. So
Okay.
some of the things that we include now, we don't, have, we don't include the liquor, so that you have to pay a little extra for. But like
Okay.
I said, we have free internet for everyone on board. There is free specialty dining. Like I said, no one pays for
Right.
specialty dining. And then your coffees, your teas, your soft drinks, your specialty coffees, all of that stuff is also included. So,
Perfect.
when you look at it, the big picture, all of that good stuff is pretty much included. So that's why we consider ourselves upper premium. So you're
Right.
getting a luxury type product, but since it's not all inclusive, we really can't call ourselves luxury, but we call
Luxury.
ourselves upper premium. Okay.
Upper premium. There we go.
Yes, upper premium. And and
So,
and and the other thing that we have is we have a promotion that we have on all of our sailings, no matter which one you go on, and it's kind of like our way of giving you the chance to be inclusive by choice. So
hmm
it's called O Life Choice. So
right.
that way you get three different amenities that the client can choose one of. So you
Okay.
choose one of the three, either a basic beverage package, you
hmm
can get that, or you can choose an onboard credit, or you can choose free excursions. So, for
Ah.
instance, yes. So, for instance, say if you're on a 10-night cruise, right?
hmm
Your client would have the option to choose either the beverage package or $600 onboard credit for the stateroom or six excursions for the stateroom. So
Ah.
the number varies based on how long the cruise is. So
Cruise
for a
is
10-night
okay.
cruise, right. So for a 10-night cruise, it would be $600 per room or six excursions per stateroom, or you could get the beverage package, which is beer and wine at lunch and dinner, and you to upgrade to a full open bar package
Right.
from that package is only $20 per person per day extra. So it's not
Yeah.
really that much more to
Yeah.
upgrade
That's
to.
not bad.
Yeah, and if they
That's
book through you, a lot of times I can give them an onboard credit that can cover that
okay.
upgrade if that's what they're looking to do. So.
Nice. Nice. So what are some of the trends that you're noticing? What are you talked about the wine and food theme
Mhm.
kind of thing. So what
Mhm.
other trends are you seeing in the industry or with Oceania right now?
Well, what I'm seeing is there's a fascination with Cuba right now.
Yes.
It's amazing how the 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 consumer, everyone is trying to get to Cuba. So we started, and Frank Del Rio, who is started Oceania, he's Cuban. So
Ah,
that was definitely one of his goals, was to have the ships for the company that he worked for go back to Cuba. And so
right.
we have tons of Cuba itineraries. Like when I first started here a year ago, we had about maybe 6 or 7 cruises that went there. But coming out in 2020 and 2021, we have definitely increased that number. And because it's so popular right now, like they, as soon as they go on the market, they're really selling out pretty quickly. So,
Okay.
and I think and one of the reasons I think is because people want to get down there before the island changes, before it
Yes.
gets
Or
commercialized.
before we can't go.
Yep, because you never know with the political climate these days. You never know what could happen. So a lot of people are trying to get down there and see it as soon as possible. So that's one area that's really been very popular. Asia is coming back on the map. There's a lot